have been talking about the Dakinis wisdom teachings, and we are exploring Dakinis or the channel grand teaching of wisdom, especially in this time of challenges and sometimes devastation or despair. Today, I thought that we're going to really explore Buddha's channel grand teaching. This question of how can we find freedom in the channel ground in the middle of challenging life? How can the mind remain at ease, peace, and freedom? Is that possible? Buddha said it's possible in this. Freedom is possible in this time, right here, right now. Freedom, he used the term nirvana. Nirvana is possible in every moment. He was not presenting nirvana out there in heaven or something like that. No, completely down to the earth. So I thought that today's session, we're gonna come back, so to speak, or explore deeper what that means, and also back to his fundamental, essential teaching, which he shared with us, which is, I translate like the three, sometimes add a fourth one, three characteristics, or three, sometimes translate as a marks, three basic realistic human experience called life. Life is human experience. So he presented so-called three marks of existence, or three factors of reality. But reality in this sense, not the reality out there. Reality and human experience I use as a synonym. Three marks of existence, these are the, I think, Buddhism 101, no? That kind of thing. But then see if we can explore the wisdom in it, which we really appreciate his teaching in this challenging time. Let's take a moment to settle, so to speak, see if we can explore a little more experientially. Because as I said, this is about our experience. It's not the reality out there. Buddha was not presenting this as a rule or belief system to follow. It's not a rule, not something you have to believe in order to become a Buddhist. But this is the key to open the door of reality. So right now you are sitting. What is it? Coming and going. See if we can notice gently what's arising and ceasing. If you like, you can go from the growth phenomena. Here I can see, I can feel the changes of season from summer to autumn. Then again, autumn will move into winter, coming and going. And day, now here daytime, arisen from night, darkness to light, again dissolve back to darkness, and weathers changing all the time, never stay the same each day. Formation of the clouds, actually that makes beauty. We're going to talk more about that. Gift of impermanence. So what else? Feel the body, every sensation you feel, you experience, coming and going, no matter how painful you might feel sometimes. But then sometimes not exactly same intensity, staying the same. How about your thought patterns, thinking mind? Whatever arises, thought, emotions, feelings, that you experience? Are they stay the same or are they staying different? How about the breath? Every breath you experience coming and going. What's happened if breath stay the same? How about your idea about who you are or identity always stay the same? If you are child or your daughter or son, if you stay all the time, you as a son or daughter, you never become a mother or a father. Who are you then? There's no solid self identity. Just get in touch with the hint or smell of emptiness through the door of impermanence, through the door of changing phenomena. Then can you find that freedom when you accept it, when you let go of the struggle to maintain a sense of solid self? Because our struggle will always be unsuccessful because of no self, no self-existent entity which we can grasp onto. Then again, come back to this question or invitation I raised is how can we live in grace, joy, beauty, and freedom with the channel ground. So these are three marks of existence, so-called, I call the human experience in many levels, even psychological, physical, or existential dimensions. We can talk about that. Pervasive factors of human experience. Pervasive means it's like a seal, when important document, it's marked with the same stamps, right? So that Buddhist teaching is sealed by these factors. So first one is we just kind of tasted impermanence. Of course, impermanence has a many different level, gross to subtle. So anyway, impermanence, first one, which is a fundamental teaching of Buddha. And the second one is no self. Anatta in a Pali language. Self means no solid, separate, single self in this context. Of course, in Indian philosophy, they argued or debate about what self means. But in this context, just independent, solid, separate self, not depending on anything else, not depending cause and cause. I think that is quite radical when Buddha talked about that, because around that time, Buddha's time, that the self was accepted, like a God's kind of thing. That the impermanence described how things are, no self describe what they are not. So that's how I think Thich Nhat Hanh describes. I love how he interpreted this classical teaching, very experiential. He said impermanence is emptiness in terms of time. And no self is emptiness in terms of space. Then third one is so-called suffering, dukkha. So every experience is marked by some kind of dukkha, unsatisfactory nature. Then I also invited you to feel what that means. Then I use the word struggle. As long as we struggle to maintain that sense of solid self, grasp onto this independent self, then we struggle. That's what Buddha was pointing out to. Then fourth one, I would like to add, that's nirvana. In this case, nirvana is the freedom. I can translate freedom or liberation. Liberation from what? Or freedom, or going beyond or concept, even concept of no self and impermanence. What that means, we have freedom or we have nirvana, freedom from concept in no self and in impermanence. It means we are not caught by the concept or caught in no self and impermanence as idea. Then that leads to the Buddha's word. I said, Buddha said, happiness can only be possible in here and now, every moment. So that's just the basic for teaching. Thich Nhat Hanh really encourage us to go deeper, look deeply into impermanence, for example, first one. This is the key to open up the gate of the whole reality, leads to freedom. Looking deeply into impermanence leads to the discovery of no self. The discovery of no self leads to nirvana. Nirvana is the kingdom of God. So that's the Thich Nhat Hanh's word. It's say quite a bit how all are intertwined, those four characteristics. So when guided through meditation, I don't know if you can have a little bit of taste of that. Very short, but my meager attempt to get in touch with this, what this is talking about. Then let's look deeply into impermanence. I think we have a tendency to impermanence. Of course, I know that. I know everything changing, things changes. Nothing special about this factor. Buddha didn't need to tell us. We know that. Is that so? So let's explore gift of impermanence or miracle of impermanence. What do you think? If we look into impermanence, what helps us? Insight of impermanence helps us to go beyond the old concept. What that means. For example, river, water in the river today is completely different from the water we touched or we bathed or we watched before or yesterday. And yet, it's the same river, no? So we cannot say this is the same or this is different because it's impermanent. It's changing. Impermanent means changing, constant changing every moment. We cannot describe accurately as the same or different from what we are moment ago. Like me, or moment to moment changing, I know body. But then is that completely different? Me cannot say. Feels like a kind of give continuation, continuum as well. So impermanence helps us not to be caught by all these concepts. Candle flames, for example, flames of the candle we lit, so the one moment changing, but then we cannot say the same or different flame. Okay, something like that. So what else? What's the gift of impermanence? If everything is not changing, what happens? We want something not to change. Not. We want to be always somebody stay the same.
So I think for me, what's the gift is really that I kind of feeling within that I'm actually part of this ever changing river life. And that's gives me a lot of sense of vitality because it's kind of feeling this that something is flowing within me and it's always flowing. I feel this ever changing kind of life force within me flowing through me, and it's always kind of in motion, which by therefore everything is kind of in movement all the time, and it's never still nor stagnant.
Yeah. Very dynamic, no?
Yeah, that's what I meant. But it makes
Yeah,
me
dynamic
feel
and
that,
make everything possible,
yeah,
transformative. Yeah,
yeah,
if we are completely stagnant, stuck in one thing, then can't be transformed or cannot change, or
Yeah.
nothing gonna possible.
Yeah.
Even freedom is not possible.
On a practical point of view, I realize there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to grab onto and hope for or wish it was different than it is, because it's not how it appears anyway. It's just constantly, like Heidi said, changing. So for me, it's a experience of not solidifying and grabbing a hold of something, but realizing that it's not it's not how I think it is anyway. It's constantly changing.
Mm. Yeah. And yet, I don't know about you. We forget sometimes. Yeah. But then again, I said use this word miracle of impermanence. Then our sadness or sense of grief or loss of a beloved one, for example, those things will pass because of this awareness of impermanence.
Yes, I was just going to say, it's to me what brought, when you were talking, what up for me was the fact that it is impermanent, and this point in time is, even though it's changing all the time, its point in time is very precious. We don't have forever. We have this human birth now. We have this meeting with the Dharma, and it's like, wow, I really want to take advantage of this, because knowing what I've been in the past, I don't know where I'm going next, but I really have a deep conviction. I want to do better. I want to be more of what is, and make that available, not just to me, but to others that I contact.
Yeah, very nice. So really, this is important, no? Impermanence makes us value every moment, makes every moment precious. We need to really nourish the understanding, deep understanding of impermanence. Not only concept, but almost like our body knows that one, every moment, in such a way that we will live life every day with joy in beauty and freedom. So really important to remember and embody impermanence in that sense. Now, if I use this word beauty, I don't think Buddha used that word, but I really feel in Japan, I grown up and I have lots of appreciation in, for example, tea ceremonies. I used to do a lot before. We see beauty in this ephemeral, impermanent phenomena. They didn't appreciate the complete solid, like a Greek pillar, last forever or something. We really appreciate these fragile bamboo hat, tea scoop with made of bamboo, kind of fragile bamboo trees, and so forth. Beauty in every moment. How we like to live that way, whatever arises. How about if we see the emotions through the eye of impermanence or depression or whatever?
When we started this, I was kind of immediately went to the idea of things that manifest really are this energy. I mean, I think Heidi was talking about the flow, that it's all energy, but I really have a strong tendency to put impermanence out there somewhere, and which isn't wrong in a sense. All of that is impermanent, but I think really there's times when I look at my own life, and I've said, Betty and I've talked about this, that gee, you don't have to die to be reborn. I mean, I can look at parts of my life and I feel like, God, my life is just so different in different times. And if this were not so, if we were a solid self, how could anything change? Or, they're just, how could anything evolve?
Like a strong emotion, conflicted emotion, like anger. Look at anger with the eye of impermanence. If we really cultivate it if we really embody, we live our life in that way, and with the awareness of impermanence, those strong emotions, maybe in the face of strong emotion, we can stop. And we can breathe, as Thich Nhat Hanh said. And the impermanence nurtures love too, no? Love, these human qualities of beautiful human quality of love, innate love. Imagine, if we understand this impermanence deeply, remember life is impermanent. We would do everything we could to make other person happy, right here, right now. What do you think?
I spent most of my career working in hospice. And so this was a topic that we often talked about, and we obviously experienced it every day. And people would say, how do you do that work? And yet I don't think you could find a more joyful group of people who worked there and who loved the work, and who they would all say it changed my life because they saw impermanence every day. And so if only we could all remember, because we forget that everything is impermanent, we could maybe live a life of no regret. So it's a powerful truth.
You use that word joy. Yeah, again, impermanence, awareness of impermanence bring joy, so much joy, beauty, and love, fulfill our human life, kindness, all those things.
So many threads are coming through, as I feel into impermanence, when I'm in that kind of denser kind of quality, when I'm in more of a conceptual mind, there's a way in which I can forget the ongoing continuity. So as Ellen was really speaking, about the joy, it's about, for me, about time and timelessness. It's timeless awareness in time and how I'm relating to phenomena, if that makes sense. As I kind of open to this beautiful ongoing continuity of being, which is love, I feel, just so heartened by that.
Yeah, nice. Everybody spoke based on your own experience, not the conceptual. So one way to say the seeing freedom or nirvana in this impermanence, and then seeing freedom in this non-self, non-separated, independent self. Again, those ultimate or relative or intertwined. And freedom from all idea and notions, timeless. Yeah, timeless awareness.
I think for me, there's this experience of the paradox with, when I experience the paradoxical nature of it, that there is this elusive moment, but at the same time, I'm connected to something eternal.
Yeah.
Within, that gives me peace.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me appreciate the moment, but also there's something bigger I'm part of at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Buddhism, earlier foundational teaching, Buddha didn't use much about emptiness, term emptiness, more like self, no self. And then middle turning of the wheel, he really talked about or taught emptiness, wisdom teaching. Really, this earlier teaching of impermanence leads to the wisdom of emptiness, which is Dakinis teaching. That's one of the reasons I wanted to bring up another, you can say, gateway to lead to this timeless awareness or timeless truth of emptiness. Then how we can live our life in this life right now we are facing based on this wisdom, channel ground like conditioned phenomena. Actually, that's a good reminder for us to go back to this kind of fundamental teaching and explore and embody moment to moment, not the abstract Buddha's philosophy out there.
And one of the things that I find too, the more that I practice with you all, is that it also it can open my heart also to experience this myself, and then to realize that everyone is exactly the same. There's a verse in the preliminary part of the Ganden Cho, and it talks about how we are trapped in the steel cage of grasping at true existence and completely enveloped in the dark cloud of unawareness. That just, I don't know, it just opens my heart to think about that's so many of us live our lives that way.
I hope this is the beginning of embodiment of impermanence, and that leads to the wisdom of emptiness, timeless awareness, and then see if we can live our life based on that, so that we can become an ambassador. I use again this term, ambassador for the world, challenging world of suffering.